Hey, produce people, welcome back to the Produce Industry Show. We are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. We even have a couple paired channels up today. We're talking all things water for all. It's a Friday afternoon, it's December 15th. You might not have known, but it's about 10 days out from Christmas. And there's a lot of things going on, a lot of shopping going on, a lot of fun going on. But today we're here to talk about the Water for All trip that we took last month to the Dominican Republic. We're going to hear from some of the participants. We're going to talk about what their experience was. We're even going to talk about I would say, the adaptability and ingenuity that was put in to have this trip a special trip, and it was a change trip. When I left the trip last year, I remember talking to Danny Rodriguez saying, I do not know how next year is even going to top this year's trip. And what's crazy about it is every year is going to be its own experience, its own trip. And you get to spend time with people that you don't know. And then you get to be with people and connect with people and learn more about them. So, as we embark on this journey today to hear what the Water for All participants have to say, we're also going to let you know how to sign up for next year, how to become a participant, or if you don't think that you can hike 27 miles, then how do you be a part of the fundraising group and be a part overall of providing water for all, or as we said on this trip, water forever? So I'm going to introduce Danny Rodriguez and Albert Perez of Blue Missions and Continental Fresh. So Danny, what's up, my man?
How's it going, Pat? Great to be here with you.
Amazing, man. Let's get Albert on. Albert,
Reporting for duty, my friend. How are you? Good
hey,
to see you.
great to see you. Listen, um, we always got to go back to day one. Which, do you remember? You called me. Why don't you tell the story on how you got me involved in this?
You mean the first time you came up?
Yeah, when you called me
Yeah.
the first time, what happened?
No, I just mentioned, the possibility that we're trying to put this industry trip together to go down to Dominican Republic, and I don't think I had finished even giving the stats or the facts or what the trip was all about, and you said, "I'm in," and that was it. And from there on, we were able to put this together. And as you know, last year we took 19 participants, and then we went for a repeat performance this year. And I believe we were 36 participants this time around, with a few curveballs and stuff that were thrown at us.
There's always a few curveballs. There always is, and that's why I signed up. And getting to know Danny, obviously, Danny, this trip, obviously, it means a lot to me. And as crazy as it sounds, it's I know we're giving back about water, but I can tell you, Danny, you changed my life in a way that about giving to people. But I started to realize this trip was about mental health, about seeing lives of others that obviously are completely different than ours, and it really becomes an emotional trip. I mean, for me, it does, because I'm able to disconnect. I'm able to put the phones down. I'm able to put the computer down, Danny, and that was something that was really special to me. Is so as I go down on this trip, I've already signed up for next year already, and I look at this as a true disconnect trip to get back to the roots, man. So I would really love for everybody that's listening out there. We've got a few people on LinkedIn, YouTube. I really want to talk about what Blue Missions is, and I'd like you to give that overview to everybody, and then we're going to introduce the participants and have a little reunion and hear from them. So, Danny, the floor is yours to really give the people of the internet what Blue Missions is about.
I appreciate that, Pat. And Blue, a lot of your audience probably associates Blue with the Pico Duarte trek, but in reality, Blue is much more than just a trek. Blue stands for Building Love, Uniting Everyone, and our mission, simply put, is that we want there to be water for all forever. And for us, water is a personal issue. It's something that we've seen what it's like for people who don't have clean water. We've seen how it affects children in rural parts of the world and women in rural parts of the world. They're forced to walk for water. They bear that responsibility. And imagine if you just lost 4 to 6 hours of every single day of your life because you have to go collect water. So seeing communities change from that reality to a reality where they walk to their kitchen and open a faucet and no longer have to walk for water allows them to live out their purpose, allows them to pursue their dreams. And that's the life changing part of our work. Um, the duality of our mission is that it's not only about serving through clean water, it's about connecting people to purpose. How do we help our world, help our acquaintances, friends, family connect with a purpose? What are they passionate about? What are their skills? And what does the world need? So I think that's kind of the underlying mission within the mission, where we believe that we are building an army of water warriors. We're building an army of people who care about others and who want to give back. And Blue, the treks, the missions that we do, the infrastructure projects that we do, it's all just a vehicle to help connect people to purpose.
I love it. I mean, that's what I feel. I feel it's about, I love that purpose. Albert, you have embarked on this journey for more than, I would say, 20 years. When you first went to the Dominican Republic, and we've talked about your story. What, 40 years? Is that what you're telling me?
40 years.
I just think you're so young, brother.
Yeah,
Like,
I
you know,
am. I feel you. I started
like
when I was basically 2 years old.
Albert's actually only 18. You just don't realize it, everyone. I mean,
Yeah.
that's Al right there.
It was
Um,
1983, the first time I ever went on a water project. Yeah.
and what's crazy is, I say it's crazy because, change happens fast, it happens swift, and sometimes you have to accept what's happening. So when you went down there, it changed your life because 40 years later, you're still doing this, right?
It
And
was a turning point. It was a big turning point in my life. I was in high school. I was a junior. And honestly, what Danny's talking about, connecting with purpose, I wasn't sure what my purpose was going to be. And this trip, this service trip that I went to as a high school junior, kind of showed me that I had the ability to make a difference, that I had the talent to do this, and there was a need. So, what Danny just said there, the three components of finding a purpose, they happened to me. I was just very fortunate that this happened to me at a very, very young age, and and then many years later, I continue to have these trips, and Danny comes along as well, and then Danny decides that he wants to do some of the same work, and this is how we end up at Blue Missions and expanding, all the work that's been done because Blue has now taken and exploded it. Where I do one trip a year, they're doing 50. So this is so neat.
it is. And I think that as we bring it into the produce community, we're starting to get more produce folks, but we're also going to hear from another community today, right, that came on the trip with us, and about water, right, how they support water. They brought a pretty big group, and we're gonna hear from them. But then each and every one of the participants that we met all had a passion for either giving back towards water, towards helping communities, and that's what it is all about. And I can tell you, I mean, I sat with so many people on this trip. I tried to get to know everyone as close as I can. Heck, I got to know your nephew very well when he jumped on my back, in the disco. But I got to know everybody on a different level, and that's what I love so much about it, is that really getting to, I say, look into each other's eyes, right? The best opportunity to get to know somebody is to look in their eyes and listen to them as they speak and really hear what they have to say. And again, I believe that a lot of times this trip lets you do this. And again, you get to see what they and how they live, right? And one thing I'm going to say is it's a very emotional trip for me. Heck, if you were there with me, I cry a few times on this trip. I get really emotional because I really understand how fortunate that I am in the U.S. So fortunate to the point where now I've signed up myself next year. Albert, I just told you I'm going to sign my wife up, and my son, who will be 13 years old, is going to go on this trip with us as well next year. And I believe, as I told my wife, I think it's our duty now to show the youth what is happening, not just in our world, but around the world, right? Because a lot of times we get sectored in our four walls. And when we're in our four walls, we get complacent. So when we're able to go out of our four walls, we really get to see what life is about. And I can tell you, there was not one person that I met down in the Dominican Republic that wasn't happy, right? And that's what you have to say. They were so happy that they get water, that what they do. So I think it's time that we get this reunion started and let everybody in, and then let's hear from the participants. But let's get the reunion started first, so they can see who this group was. So I'm going to start letting our team in. Here we go. Oh my goodness. Some of these faces I haven't seen. I'm going to say in 2 minutes, but a month, as well. Krista.
Boy, Ross, nice hat.
Oh,
vintage
God.
hat.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Trying to figure out how to do this the best way to where everybody on the screen shows. This is I don't want myself being big. That's horrible. I don't want. Get me out of here. How do I gotta move this thing around. We'll just go Hollywood Square status, which is great. But look, this is the team. I mean, we had 36 participants, everyone, but this is more. Then there was more than this, right? But everybody here played a very important role, and everybody here that's on this call took the time out of their schedules to fly to the Dominican Republic and get to know each other, right? And to put themselves, I would say, out on a limb and be vulnerable. I talk about vulnerability a lot because when you're on these trips, you don't have your cell phones. You can't ignore people by looking down at your screen, right? It's really one-on-one connections and talking to people. Oh my God, we actually have to sit and talk to everybody, but that's what I love the most, right? So I say we get to know some of the participants here. I want to hear what they have to say. My screen obviously is the same as your screen, so I'm going to start with I say to my left, but I think I'm just inverted here. So I'm going to go ahead and Miriam, I want you to start off. Talk about, why you came, your company that came, and why you're so passionate about water and giving back. Uh-oh, we lost your audio, Marion.
Can you hear me okay now? Sorry about that.
All good.
Okay. Well, thanks for having us here today. We were really excited to have 11 people on the trip. And I am the founder of Oak Aquatic Swim School. And everyone in South Florida needs to learn how to swim. And so we provide swimming lessons in 5 indoor warm water, beautiful facilities in Miami-Dade County. And we're celebrating our 30-year anniversary in February. And we serve our team members, we serve our community by teaching swimming, but we also serve the community and the planet. That's part of our purpose as a certified B Corporation. So as a certified B Corporation, we like to give, we like to be involved in other organizations. And so we're also members of 1% for the Planet. So we looked for nonprofit partners that were 1% certified. And we came across Blue Missions a few years ago. And like Danny mentioned, their purpose is connecting people to purpose. And that we were very aligned with that. And so we really enjoyed meeting Blue Missions. We have worked with them now quite a bit. We actually donate for every day. For every swimming lesson that we teach, we donate 1 day access to water to a community in the Dominican Republic. So it's been really great just growing our relationship with Blue Missions over the years. And so this was just the icing on the cake. We got to go on a trip and we got to see a community and we got to hike and we got to be with others. And our 11 people came back supercharged and we're ready to do another trip next year. So
I would say, isn't it amazing how, like I said, you brought a lot of your people from your business, how they came together. And I know you guys do a lot of trips together because I heard that from your group and how you guys bond together. But wasn't it amazing, like I said, to come back and be recharged? And I saw that you were already running up the stairs training for next year, right? And there's no mountains in Miami, right? So there's only so many ways that we can bring it all together and start training for the trip, right?
Absolutely. Yep. We're going to keep going. So keep the momentum going.
What was your favorite part about the trip?
I think the flexibility of the group, this trip maybe didn't happen as it was exactly planned, but we had great guides with Albert and Danny. And just, I remember some days we're like, what are we doing today? Where are we staying tonight? We're going to figure it out, and I appreciated everybody's flexibility, and we were all up for whatever was coming next. So I think that was really great.
That is the truth. And everybody, we're gonna go through with everybody talking, but what we haven't really touched on is that we didn't hike Pico. That's the crazy thing about this is you're going to notice that we're going to talk and share, but there was a huge storm that came through, and we had to adapt. And I remember Albert saying to me, hey, come here for a second. I said, what's up? Because I think the national park's going to be closed. And I remember, looking at Albert, and I said, I trust you, man. Whatever you decide to do, whatever we decide to do, I trust you. I trust your judgment. And if you know Albert like I do, he is very on point with what he's doing, what his schedule is. And so obviously we knew he was a little nervous, but we as a group supported him and his efforts. So we did not hike Pico. So when I get to Albert, he's going to tell you a little bit more about that. But as everybody else goes through, you're totally able to tell about how you like this trip as well and what we did. So I'm going to pass this on to our next participant, which is Jehoon.
Well, for me, this trip, I remember when you told me about this and literally told me that I was signed up for something. I didn't have a clue what it was. And I was just in because I just trusted you, Patrick. And meeting Albert and Danny was just the energy that I felt from you guys from the first moment. It was just amazing. And to me, this trip is about enjoying what's in the moment, what's present, that connects me with my personal past and maybe the future. So when I was growing up, it's the village that I grew up in Korea was always about the community. Any kind of parties, any kind of events, like if somebody having birth, somebody getting married, the whole town gets together and throws a party. And it's not about the individuals; it's about the community. And even when I go back now, it's so developed and modernized. You don't have that anymore. And through this trek, I've been doing it last year and this year, but through this trek, I feel like I connect back to my childhood, and it's just a reminder. It's a refreshing reminder that reminds me of where I am from and what I came to be who I am now. So, and also not to forget that it's not just about me, it's about everybody in the community, and each one of you, the 36 of you this year and the 19 of us last year, is a reminder that the world is not a bad place at all.
Very nicely said.
Very nicely said, G. I definitely agree with you, man. The world is an amazing place, and everybody on this call, like I said, I've connected with, and all amazing, amazing people. So thank you. And G, yes, I signed G up for a lot of blind events. Everyone, I want to be very clear with that. G sometimes will be like, "What are we doing?" I'm like, "Doesn't matter." I'm like, "Doesn't matter what we're doing. It's for a good cause." And I can tell you, G and I, as you can tell, anybody that that was on this trip, you can tell G and I have a very special relationship. We've been best friends, for 23 years. The godfather to my kid, my wife and I's best friend, and so it's not like he's not part of the family. He's not the blood brother. He is my brother. So I love it, G, man. Appreciate you as always. Love having you on these trips, and just love you being around all the time. And heck, taking pictures of a few of us jumping in the water too. We'll get to that too, because one of our participants and I we decided to have a cold plunge, and we'll get to her later. But next we've got Martin. You're up, buddy.
Hi, how are you? So
Amazing.
for me also was like a blind trip, because when I decided to join, I didn't know many about Blue, and also I didn't know any one of you. Maybe I knew you, Patrick, and Albert, through LinkedIn. And I remember when I told my wife, "Hey, I'm going to do this trip with these people to help this organization. She said, with whom? Why are you doing this? So it's going to be tough to you going to people that you don't know to help a cause that you also are not very aware about that. But I say, I think my life purpose is to help people as much as I can. So I tried to go last year to a trip. I couldn't, and I'm really very happy that I made the decision to go. And I was the only one of the 36 or 37 that was happy that we couldn't do the Pico Duarte, because as you know, I was injured. I wasn't sure that I can make it. So we hiked a lot, like 5 hours, 4 hours and a half. So that was enough for me. So I had a great time. Really, I'm very happy that I made that crazy decision. I think that the trip and the experience gave much to me that what we give. It's much more than maybe giving money or fundraising and give your time. I think that I didn't expect to have all the other things that the trip had, like the connection with the people, the experience. So I'm really very, very happy that I made the decisions to go, and for sure I will go next year.
I love it. And Martin, we appreciate you. Martin was one of our sponsors to our fundraising program. We didn't think that Martin was going to go, and then all of a sudden we got an email and it's like, Martin's coming, right? And it was like, wait, what? And then all of a sudden Martin came. So Martin, we appreciate you, man. Appreciate what you've done. Obviously learning about thanks as well, and what you guys are doing for the produce industry. So it's great. Helping farm workers, helping laborers. It's all about building a community of like-minded people and great people, right? So we thank you for that, man, and we great to have you. All right, next, as they said, we got the mobster looking down on us on his camera.
I lifted it up a bit.
You did a little bit. So let's go to Elaine. Great to have you, man. Great to see you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Do I call you Patrick or Lil Citrus?
Lil Citrus. Always. No, listen, I've changed my name on LinkedIn, so it's Lil Citrus from here on out.
It's official.
It's 100% official.
Yeah. So, I met and immediately fell in love with Blue last year. I went on a separate Pico trip from the one you guys went on. Went with my wife, didn't know what I was getting into, but immediately fell in love with them, with what they were doing. One of the things that I love is that with Blue, you get to give, but you also get to participate, right? So that's not a common thing. It's nothing I had ever experienced before. So it's very tangible. You see where your money is going, you see where your efforts are going. And I fell in love with what they were doing. Part of the Pico trip involves going out to see a community that they've served in the past, which is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I'll tell you that one of the things that most touched me about this trip was not only going to the community, but actually going to see their water source and having to see what that community had to do before Blue solved their water problem. And it was incredible to see, that hike that they used to have to do every day to go get water. And, I just think about them having to trek back now with a full bucket. It's something that, you can't really understand, being privileged enough to, be here in the United States where, like Danny said earlier, you just go to the faucet, you turn it on, and there's the water. But it's beautiful. And then another special component of this trip was the people, right? Getting to meet you, getting to meet Albert, Oak Aquatics crew, the produce crew. It was great. And I'm signed up for next year. It's done. It's official. And I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
That's amazing, man. I would say you brought up Lil Citrus. What was your favorite part of the trip?
Favorite part of the trip, man. The karaoke was fun.
Ah, there it is.
Karaoke was
There
fun.
it is. No one realized that and I'll wait till someone brings up because I'm not going to say it, but I don't have
Yeah.
like a serendipity moment. How did we find a spot that had a karaoke
I
machine?
know. You're probably thinking, how the heck is somebody doing karaoke on a hiking trip? But
Yeah,
somebody else could explain that.
someone else is going to talk about that, but there's a
Yeah.
whole nother trip for a pig roast and karaoke night
There we go.
in the DR, and I'm
Yeah,
just
man.
saying, I'm just saying. So that was amazing, and it was amazing to meet you, meet your
Likewise.
wife, and I think that's what's great about it is we are coming out of this with I say lifelong friends. We might not know each other, we might not interact on a daily basis, but it's like that friend that you see after 4 or 5 years that you can just pick up right where you left off, and you're at it again, right? So
Yep.
that's what I love about it, and I do agree with you. The people make this trip, right? I mean, that is one of the most amazing things about it is the people, and you even talked about the town, but when we were going through the town and we were having trouble walking through some of those hills, all of those children were just zooming
Yeah.
past us. I mean, getting muddy. Like every person that I saw had a smile on their face.
Yeah.
Like you can't beat that at all. So let's move on to our next participant. Danny, we're gonna skip you because we already talked to you a little bit, and we're gonna go to Mo.
Hi, everyone. So good to see you. Yeah, I mean, I share everyone's sentiments. What else is there to share other than, I guess I'll talk a little bit about how I got connected to Blue. I've been a friend of Blue's for quite a few years and just the great work that they do locally in Miami. It was really within the last year that I got connected to some of their international work last year, was able to chaperone a group of high school kids in the DR for a week to do a water project, which was amazing, part one of a water project. And this year, I was actually supposed to be backpacking through Europe and Asia during the summer. So I knew I wasn't going to be able to participate as a chaperone again, but I still wanted to get plugged in and help out in some way. And so the only other option was the hike and the trek, which is crazy because I'm a Florida girl and we got no mountains here, but I had been training for it. And it was really important for me to do because I think as we live our lives, we should live them with intention. And one of my intentions and one of my rhythms of life is having at least an annual service trip, a way in which I can give back and get out of my bubble and be reminded of how other people live, like you talked about, Patrick, and just be humbled and in the privilege that I even have to live in a place like Miami in the States. And so it was beautiful to go, beautiful to meet everyone. People. Oh,
Someone's crumbling paper.
Just beautiful to meet everyone. I was one of the few participants that wasn't part of a larger group. So I came solo on the trip, but left with 35 friends as a result. And just happy to be here. Thanks for having us, Patrick.
No, amazing. I had some great talks with you, Mo, as well, and you and I connected on a great level on just family, community, and I love people that share some of the same experiences that we have because a lot of times you just never know what's happening in someone's personal life because everything on Facebook and LinkedIn, it's always everybody always posts the good stuff, right? So you never really know what happens or hey, what was their family life like? And Mo and I connected on that a lot, just about the core of a family and what it should be about, and that hit home for me too. I went home, Mo, and talked to my wife about a lot of the conversations that we had, and I think that's why I'm encouraging her more and more to do this trip and come with us and see this community. And then I even told my wife, I said, I'm even a different person on this trip, right? Because once I can get disconnected as well, look at G shaking his head, yes, is that it allows me to open up and not have to worry about some of the stupid things that we worry about in life. So I appreciate you, Mo. We're going to move past Albert as well. We're going to go to Ross, the produce boss.
All right, thanks, Patrick. Hello, everybody out there and all my fellow Water for All friends. I thought it was important, for this trip, as Patrick had really gone on the year before and hit me up and talked to me a lot about it. The importance of being able to get out to everyone that have mentioned it already, but get out of our bubble, see new experiences, see new people, get to see part of the world that you wouldn't necessarily get to do without this opportunity. And then, part of Albert's, Water for All cause, I've heard a lot about it, experienced a little bit of it, but being able to get back in the industry, industry that I love and support. We did get to see some fresh produce on our trip, a lot of the chayote along the mountains and everything there, and different things. So it was really cool to be able to see it. Learned a ton, experienced a ton. We may not have done to the point of what we went there with the agenda, but everything was put in place. That was a phenomenal experience. Pivoting, adapting. We were full of adapting and had a lot of good adventures, memories and experiences that I'll never forget, and look forward to hopefully repeating, in the future.
And Ross, I would say I kind of did what I did to G on this one. I was like, hey man, I want you to sign up for this. Ross was entered into a contest that we put together for the produce industry, and Ross won this trip. And what's great about this is 4 or 5 people actually signed up for that. Remember, Albert? It's crazy. I'm like, hey, free trip to the Dominican Republic, and I think we had like 4 people sign up for it. That was it. And it's crazy because I think people don't understand, maybe what they're getting into. But Ross, as a first timer, right, and kind of me saying, hey, now that you've won this trip, this is what you need to do. This is what you can expect. Even though we didn't hike Pico, how did you feel about the level of intensity about hiking and camping in another country?
It was intense. It was some new experiences or experiences I haven't had for many years. Us all staying in that building, doing karaoke, keeping the door open with dogs coming in during the night and kind of freaking me out. Spiders that scared Patrick on the final day. It was fun. We had a lot of laughs. We had a lot of stories. We had a lot of emotions. It puts you out of your comfort zone. You need to get out and experience different things, push yourself to a new level. I went in, optimistic about what I could do. Albert called me an ox. I'll take that with the utmost respect. I really wanted to challenge myself, and I felt I did a lot of that on this trip.
I think you did. I think you really did, man. And I've known Ross for going on, man, it'll be 4 years next year. And I'm proud of Ross as well. As we, I talked to his wife a lot as well. We're all friends together, and I think Ross really grew on this trip as well. Albert and I said, we were like, man, Ross opened up. We got the butterfly out of Ross. The caterpillar's gone, right? Ross is the butterfly now, right? But still an ox. He still is an ox, but he's a butterfly in our book. So
I have to talk about my favorite part of the trip, though.
Uh-oh.
That would be our bus. We had the hype.
Albert's bus. Listen, we split up the buses a little bit, but yeah, I would say any bus that had us on it, we made that thing party.
We were people dancing on our bus. I mean, it was a good atmosphere. It
was a party bus the entire time. Let's just say that as soon as we got on, like the music started, there was no sleeping on our bus. There was no nap time on our bus. There was full all out hanging out, chatting, partying. And when I say partying, like we're not just drinking or anything. It's like we're having a great time together. That's what we're
living
doing.
Life. We were living life.
Yeah, we were living in the moment. That's what we were doing. We were living in the moment. So let's kick this back. We're gonna keep it in this view to Danny. and Albert, talk about that adaptability real quick. And a couple things did happen on this trip, but you still made the trip worth it, and you still made each and every one of us come back with an experience that we didn't have before.
Albert, why don't you jump in and go in on set it up. Let everyone
Okay.
know what happened, what was the plan, and how
All
it
right.
changed.
All right. So anyone that knows me well knows that I am a perfectionist and a bit of a control freak, and especially when it comes to things that affect other people, and spend the whole year trying to prepare this experience. And we try to make sure that all of the details of this experience are well taken care of, so that every participant really has a good time and understands the meaning of the trip. So the day that we landed, the night before, there was a storm that was announced that was going through between Dominican Republic and actually hitting more of Haiti. And we knew that storm, we had some concerns about it. But the moment that we landed that morning, they announced that all the national parks were closed, every single national park. And Pico Duarte is a national park, the largest one, the tallest peak in all the Caribbean. It's 10,000 feet. And we've talked about the 27 miles. So we couldn't even find other parks to hike and other different, elevations to climb. So we were a little worried, Danny and I. What are we going to do with 36 people? How are we gonna, entertain them, etc. We reversed the order of the trip, and the first thing that we did was do the visit of the community where we built the water project. Normally we do that at the end. We said, let's buy ourselves a day, see if the park reopens, see if the storm passes. The storm came, and it was brutal. Maybe not where we were, but in parts of the capital, as many as 30 people were killed. Flooding was rampant. And that's one of the dangers of hiking. If those rains come and they hit the rivers, then those rivers grow. And we had to cross like 5 rivers on Pico anyways. So day 2, we found out that the parks were still closed. And then we started to talk to our guides and say, are there any hikes that we can do outside of the confines of the parks? And luckily, we have the best guys. They came up with routes. And so we actually did complete over the 3 days of hiking that we did 27 miles. We just didn't achieve the altitude of Pico. I believe that the highest we ever got was around 6,000 feet instead of 10,000 feet. So, but at least we completed enough hikes to do the distance. What was incredibly unique is how we fell into these different situations of sleeping in a disco because we couldn't sleep in the park office, and we couldn't put up tents. So we slept in a disco that had a karaoke machine. We did the pig roast. We did so many unique things, and I could never have done it if I didn't feel that the group really did support Danny and I. I think the group felt bad for us, and I could feel that. I could feel that support. A lot of people would come up to me and says, "Hey, whatever we get done here, we're good. We trust you." And I think it was a very unique experience. Now, the bad news is we didn't climb Pico. The good news is we had a fantastic time, and the good news is we can come back next year and climb Pico. Like I said, I'll make sure there's no storms to get you guys up there.
Danny, what do you got for us?
Yeah. I just want to jump in because, in our line of work, things never go as planned. There's always a lot of obstacles that come into play, and you're really challenged to be creative, to focus on solutions. And it takes me back to a trip that we did in 2014. And we had a group of volunteers in the country to build 16 bathrooms in one rural village that families needed bathrooms in. And we were getting towards the end of the trip, and it was time to do the bathroom that was farthest from where we were staying. And it was about a 4 to 5 mile walk, right? And when you go build these bathrooms, you're bringing everything with you, your tools, your materials. So this was one where we had to be pretty efficient to get there and back in the time that we needed to get there. And when we arrive and we start setting everything up, we come to the realization, our group of about 10 people, we realize we forgot the ladder. How are we going to build the roof? How are we going to put the roof on this bathroom if we don't have a ladder, right? And it was probably like a 3 minutes of panic, frustration. Who's gonna go back and get it? You know, a few comments. I didn't forget it. That was supposed to be someone else. You know, and then we kind of all just settled down and we see our DR. You know, a Dominican employee of ours, Moreno, who comes from a project he comes from a town that received the water project in 2007. Um, he just starts climbing a tree with his machete and starts cutting off branches, cutting off limbs. And within 60 seconds, he had built a ladder, a brand new ladder, while we were kind of discussing how are we going to solve this, right? So for those of you who have been to our office and for those of you who will come to our office in the future, we have a photo of a ladder on our wall. And no one has ever asked me, why is there a ladder on your wall? But now everyone knows, you know, that ladder's there because it's a metaphor for what we do, right? And for environments and situations that require patience, require calm, require flexibility. So anytime we get into situations like the one we experienced a few weeks ago when the national parks were shut down, I always think back to that ladder. You know, that's a callback that I always do. And there's always a solution. You just got to find it. And so grateful for the group. You know, like Albert said, we really did feel like you guys felt bad for us, which is a testament to who you guys are as people, as human beings. And it's a testament to that safe space that we create, to that magic in the mountains that we feel when we're all over there. So thank you to the group. And hopefully the next time anyone's in a tough spot, we could just think back to that ladder and think about what is the ladder that we need to build.
Good words. All right, we got to get Krista on before she gets logged out again. Krista, you've been getting a lot losing connection. Hopefully you're still there. Can you hear us?
I'm on my cell phone now and it seems to be holding. So we'll give it a shot. I kind of feel disjointed though, because I don't know what everybody said, because every time I log on, I get a little bit different. So I don't know. Do you have a question for me or?
Tell us about your experience on the trip and, you know, what your favorite part was.
Well, my experience on the trip, the way I ended up on the trip was Meaden from Oak Aquatics and we went to high school together. In fact, I graduated with her brother, Adrian. And so she told me about the trip and she sent me a couple videos and kind of sparked my interest. And so that's how I ended up on the trip. But I've been to Haiti. I went on a medical missions trip to Haiti. And so now I've been to the Dominican Republic. And I have to say it was pretty amazing. And hats off to Blue Missions to all the adaptations they made for our trip, because it was pretty awesome. The hike was great. It was really beautiful. But I'm definitely doing Pico next year. And my son said he would do it with me. So we're both going to be signed up for next year.
And that's amazing. What was your favorite part of the trip?
I like meeting new people. So I enjoyed having conversation with most everybody on the trip. The scenery was beautiful. Just hiking and enjoying the beauty, nature, untouched. You know, I did have a good bit of fun at the disco bar. That was pretty fun. It was fun to watch everybody and just connect. You know, I made a lot of connections with people, and I enjoyed meeting the Dominican people. You know, they're very humble and very gracious, and it was amazing to see the area where, you know, Blue Missions has provided water to people that, you know, had a lot more hardships to get water, clean water. So
true that. Yeah, no one wants to talk about it, but you know, G is the real celebrity in the room. He's the best singer in karaoke. And I'm like his #1 fan, as you guys all saw. I kept talking about how G can rule the karaoke, and he did. He made it amazing and fun. I mean, everybody did a great job. Just had overall a great time. Again, something that, you know, Albert and Danny have brought, you know, to the world, right? Things that we can do, and as much as we have this huge and great experience from it, obviously there's people in countries that are less fortunate. and we get, I would say, a kick out of being able to give back, right? And each and every one of us has a different goal, has a different mission, has different lives, but we all came together as, one group, and that's what I love about it the most. So, as we start to close this out, G's going to close us out. But Albert, Danny, anything you'd like to say about next year's trip, and if anybody wants to sign up, what can they do? Is there any offers out there? Well, how can we get more people involved?
Yeah, definitely. We invite everyone. We invite people of all ages to come join us on the Pico Duarte trek. We're going to have multiple options next year for people to join us on. Check out bluemissions.org. You can see what's available as of right now. We're offering a $400 discount from now until the end of the year. So make sure to jump on that. If you sign up early, you do have that discount. And we're looking to share this experience with more people, raise this awareness about this crisis that exists, and hopefully connect more people to purpose. I look around on this call and I see so many people have supported us in so many different ways. And to see companies like Martin's company, like Albert's company, Continental Fresh, like Oak Aquatics, the Produce Industry Podcast, all your companies are using your platforms and the success that you've had because of your hard work to raise awareness, to give back, to inspire others. And that's that ripple effect of love that we don't know when it ends, right? So we thank you guys for your support, for being an example. You guys have no idea how many companies you're going to inspire to find their purpose because of the choices that you've made. So check out bluemissions.org. You'll find everything on there. Follow us on Instagram at bluemissions. And yeah, we hope to see you in the future, whether it's as a hiker or as a volunteer, or as a chaperone at one of our events. There's so many ways for you to get involved, and Blue Families for Life. So excited for you to join the family.
That's the truth. That is the truth. Mo, you want to say a quick couple words before G closes us out?
Yes, thank you for the space. Just wanted to thank everyone who personally donated to my fundraiser and all of our fundraisers. On my end, I had 53 people that supported in some capacity, whether that's financially, through prayer, donating stuff I could wear for the cold weather because I'm not a cold weather girly. But as a result of that, through this avenue, we were able to support 25 people or 6 families and get them connected to water. So thank you so much. That was just my little drop in this. And I know that there's a much larger number here. Not sure if that's something you guys want to share. I did the math for our whole group, but
share it.
Let's hear it.
So I don't know the exact numbers, but as a group, we raised around $36,000. And the math for that came out to about 878 individuals, which broke down to 219 families that this one trek was able to help and support and connect people in the DR with water.
Wow.
Thank you, and thank you to all your friends and family that gave as well.
That is amazing. That is amazing. I think I'm going to go back to all of us. And so we got everybody, right? No one logged off. I think there were some log off and log ins, but I think we have everybody here. Yeah, that's really cool. One thing that I like seeing at the end of this, and I called Albert this morning, and Albert probably loves and hates when I call him and was like, hey, I got someone else interested in Water for All. Hey, I'm always called him like, I've got all these things that I'm always like, Albert, I pitched this, and Albert's probably like,
the more the merrier.
Here we go. Here goes Pat pitching another
The more the merrier.
know?
We're trying to build. We're trying to build. Yeah,
So-
like Danny said earlier, we're trying to inspire all companies to find what they're passionate about and do something similar. We're just an example of something we're doing. Like Mo said, it's our drop in the bucket. But we want to inspire other companies, other industries, everyone to do something similar about something they're passionate about. And that's the real message.
Yeah, no, for sure. G, before you close out, I would like to share a video that I think all of us are gonna enjoy, and I think the viewers will enjoy. So let's show them, what we did. How about that?
if this life is one act, why do we lay all these traps? We put them right in our path when we just wanna be free. I will not waste my days making up all kinds of ways to worry about all the things that will not happen to me. So I just let go of what I know I don't know, and I know I only do this by living in the moment, living my life easy and breezy, with peace in my mind, with peace in my heart, with peace in my soul. Wherever I'm going, I'm already home, living in the moment. I'm letting myself off the hook for things I've done. I let my past go past, and now I'm having more fun. I'm letting go of the thoughts that do not make me strong, and I believe this way can feel the same for everyone. And if I fall asleep, I know you'll be the one who'll always remind me to live in the moment, living my life easy and breezy, with peace in my mind, with peace in my heart, peace in my soul. Wherever I'm going, I'm already home.
Wow, that was awesome.
That was amazing.
I forgot so many things that we did. It was so much.
Now, listen, I can't say it enough. I tear up when I see things like this, because the community that's built outside of our everyday lives makes me so happy. And to meet all of you has just made me so happy. And I can't thank all of you enough. And I always told myself, I was like, listen, I try not to cry, but as vulnerable as I can be, I want everybody to know that it's okay to cry. It's okay to be vulnerable. And this is a trip every year that just means so much to me. And I thank all of you for joining this trip with me. And I look forward to it year after year. I thank all of you. So, G, why don't you close us out, buddy?
Man, yeah, to do that right before I close out, huh? Woo, okay. Oh, thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Albert. Thank you, Danny, Blue Missions, and thank you, Marin. To everybody that's listening, and to all friends, old and new, let's continue building love, uniting everybody. Happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you, G. Thank you, Patrick.
Thanks, everyone.
Great to see you guys.
Great to see all of you as well.
Until next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Well, everyone, that concludes our show today. I'm happy that you joined us. I'm always super excited to share my experiences with you. I hope that each and every one of you has a passion towards giving back. And if you don't, this is something that you can definitely be involved in, definitely be a part of. As you can tell, you can see how it's touched me in my life. I'm looking forward to bringing my wife. I'm looking forward to bringing my son, and looking forward to giving back as much as I can throughout my life, because what else do we have in this world when we leave is just to leave the world in a better place than what we left it, and the people that we get to leave behind what we have accomplished. So I thank you. And as I say,